Next up, we are thrilled and delighted to welcome our sponsor for this morning's track, Odeeo. And we welcome on stage Amit, the CEO and co-founder, who's going to be talking to us about turning up the volume and letting your users play on with in-game audio ads. Welcome to the stage, sir.
Thank you. Hello. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. We're excited to attend Pocket Gamer Connects. It's actually our first time that we're attending. We're quite a relatively young startup, and this is our first time, so we're happy to present to you of what we're doing and a little bit about what's happening within the audio advertising space. So a bit about myself. I'm Amit, the CEO and co-founder of Odeeo. I'm coming with a background of about 15 years within the online advertising space, spending time at IronSource, Matomi, other Israeli companies, mostly from the ad tech space. And then one of the recent companies I started working for about 2 years ago was a voice tech startup in Israel called Odeeo. And this is where I learned about the different opportunities within the digital audio advertising space, which if we compare it to the standard formats that we all know for, it was very premature in a lot of senses. If we're talking about measurement, if we're talking about performance, and many other things that we can touch moving on. But if we're talking about audio advertising in general, so Odeeo helps brand advertisers to basically cut through the noise. And when I'm talking about cutting through the noise, you're seeing some brands that we're mentioning over here on the presentation, such as Netflix, McDonald's, EA Sports. They all have something very unique, which is a sonic identity or some kind of a sonic branding. I'm going to play just an example for you guys of a few of the well-known sonic branding.
EA Sports, it's in the game.
So I'm sure everybody is familiar with EA Sports. It's one of probably the most well-known examples that we all have, but it's not just that. So everybody's familiar with that sound as well by McDonald's, and maybe the last one and probably the most relevant for each one of us today here. Everybody knows who are these guys, right? So these are guys that are mastering the area of sonic branding. And when we're looking at the space, so audio advertising is probably one of the oldest advertising formats that exists today. And actually, it's now 100 years since the first radio commercial was broadcasted in the US. It was 1922, sorry, so it's exactly 100 years from today. And if we're looking about the impacts that audio has on brand recall, brand uplift, but to say it very simple, audio advertising works. It works as it creates some kind of a top-of-mind messaging that does impact the user. So what you guys are all familiar with is the radio advertising experience in which you're probably driving your car and then there's an ad shouting at you, which takes you out of wherever you were trying to go and then just brings this top-of-mind messaging into your mind. So our mission at Odeeo is basically connecting between audio advertising and mobile gaming and creating a better in-game user experience that respectfully connects gamers first, developers, and brands through audio innovation. We're talking about merging of two exploding markets. Gaming is something that we all know very well here. So obviously this industry is going and exploding, but on the other side, we have this new upcomer, the digital audio advertising space, which until now was only limited to smart speakers, music streaming, podcasts. And now suddenly, we're trying to put it in a whole new environment, which is the mobile gaming environment. And we started with this concept because we've realized that the experience today within a mobile game environment, if you're looking at the aggressive use of full screen ads, intrusive use of rewarded videos, and at the end of the day, the experience becomes very, very intrusive and disruptive. Odeeo gives your users the ability to just play on. So we're enhancing the user's in-game experience by basically giving them the opportunity to play the game and then have some kind of an audio message running in the background without interfering in the game. I'm going to show you a quick demo of how our ad units really look like today so you can get a better understanding.
We've been told that perfect mornings exist for the lucky few. That morning people own the waking hours.
So as you can see
But
here,
the truth is,
what we basically
mornings belong
did
to all of
is
us.
we took the banner
And while
that
your
today is
morning might
probably
look like
the
this,
lowest underperforming
or
ad
this,
unit within the space,
or even
and we
this,
gave him a new life.
your
This is
mornings
another
are
one of our
your
ad
life.
units. This is the Icon Odeeo ad unit. So not just with a banner,
All it takes
it's also
is
a
saying
possibility
yes.
to integrate our
Starbucks
Icon
more than
Odeeo
yes.
ad unit as something incremental on top of your existing app formats that you're working with today. In terms of the ecosystem, so what we did is developed our own SDK. Our SDK basically is connected directly to the game studios, the game developers, and then through this engine of the SDK, we're basically doing a lot of behind-the-scene work, whether it's on-device analysis, means that we're able to detect the device volume at any given time. We're able to know if a user's device is set to be on mute or not. We know if there's an in-game music running in the background, if there's a third-party app running in the background, like Spotify, Pandora, and so on. And then what we do is we know to take those moments and then to create some sort of a seamless experience for the user that gives them the ability to continue their gameplay time while getting the ad running in the background. Most of the advertising in the audio space, not sure it's working, yeah? Most of the advertisers within the audio space are top brands, Fortune 500 brands. These are the guys that you will be seeing today, whether it's Progressive, Comcast, and other huge giants that are working within the space. So I've shown you the demo, but a bit about the formats that we're working on. So as you're all familiar within the mobile gaming space, usually there's some kind of a developer-initiated ad, a system-initiated ad. This is what we call the standard format. And then on the other side, rewarded format, which obviously everybody is familiar with. Rewarded video is probably the holy grail of the mobile gaming space today, as it gives users the ability to redeem in-game currency to extend their gaming time. It gives advertisers full completions on their video, and it gives developers a great monetization solution. But what we're doing with Rewarded is we're giving the users the ability, for example, if a user disqualifies in a game, wants to revive, usually what you would do is you would watch a 30-second video and only then go back into the game. But with Rewarded Odeeo, it becomes instant. And we allow gamers to click on the button, initiate the audio ad in the background, and then go back into the game directly. So in terms of the units, we've shown you before, we do have the banner audio unit and then the icon ad audio unit. So the banner audio unit, if we're looking at average eCPMs across the space today, again, it's very clear that this is the lowest underperforming ad unit within the space with eCPMs of about 50 cents to $1 at the maximum. While when you're looking at an audio ad that comes as a combination of this visual 320 and 50 with an audible message behind it, we're talking about $5 CPM just to start with. So do the calculation of the incrementality that you can generate with it. And the reason why we have this icon audio ad unit is that in some situations where game developers are happy with their own banner monetization, so we're able to add another incremental ad unit into the game that gives them the ability to generate incremental revenue and provide audio advertising to their users. Now, we've been live for the past year or so, and since we went live, we've been seeing very strong traction on the gaming studio side. This is a graph showing the traction of the total number of games that integrated our SDK directly within their studios. So right now we have about 150 games that are directly integrated with us. We started first and foremost from the hyper-casual and casual genres, since we understood that this is the easiest way to penetrate into the market. But obviously, when we're looking at other genres, we are planning on providing additional solutions to other genres as well. This is one of the case studies that we've just recently released with Game Jam, a very large hyper-casual publishers. They were pretty much one of the big believers and visionaries with us when we first started this journey. And we've been able to show them very good results, which eventually generated about 15% of incrementality in their ARPDAU using our solution within their games. Not only that, but I can share some more data of what we're seeing using our SDK. So I mentioned before the on-device analysis capability. So what we're seeing is that over 70% of the users within our network today are playing with their sound on, which means that the opportunity does exist and it is there. Not only that, I mentioned also the CPMs. So we're seeing that $5 would be pretty much the standard CPM, talking about tier 1 markets for now, but it could go up to $15, and in some cases for direct deals, it could go even higher for $20 or $30. And then the incremental ARPDAU uplift that we're generating to our studios. So we've seen anywhere between 10 to 15% of incrementality with our studios. That's why we're having very good traction over there and hoping to be able to maintain it moving forward. And when we're trying to look at the future of how Odeeo could really blend better into the gaming space, so there are a lot of other kind of areas that we're looking into. So one of the areas, sonic diversity, for example. So diversity is a very popular name these days, and obviously, when you're looking or listening to different creatives in the audio space, it all sounds pretty much the same. So one of the areas that we're trying to do with building our own creative studio house is trying to create also diversity within the sonic ads or the advertising that we're providing, but also focusing on short form audio, for example. So if you guys are familiar with the standard ad spots within radio or traditional audio advertising, usually an ad spot would be about 30 seconds long. Well, we feel that the gaming space should have a much more optimized short form for that kind of genre or for that kind of area. And that's why we believe that short form audio would be a very big thing moving into the future within gaming. Immersive, I guess nobody can ignore saying this word. We're talking about Web3, 3D audio. So spatial audio is something that is now happening as well. Immersive audio experience. And this is something that we believe that will take more and more focus moving forward towards this year. And then at the end, so I've mentioned our plans for our creative studio, helping audio advertisers to create the advertisements themselves. So we are working with synthetic voice technologies for scalable ad creation, similar to what you guys are familiar with other, let's say, studios that are able to create in scale for video, for display. So we foresee that Odeeo will have a lot more impact in gaming moving forward, and that's what we're focusing on. That was short, but I'm happy to hear your questions.